Okay, so now we're going to be doing some functions. We're just going to practice a couple things before we do some functions. So I want you, we're currently on sheet 1, I want you to hit this plus sign for a new sheet, and we're going to be on sheet 2 and just doing a little bit of practice here. Let's go ahead and click in, let's just do A5. So let's go ahead, and there are many ways to click simple functions. One of the ways I know we've done before is to click the arrow next to the quick auto sum function, and we have these, and these are the only ones we're ever going to be messing with. But if you want to see multiple ones, you can click more functions, and here's your formula bar. Notice when we do that, it already gives us the equal sign. I'm going to close out of that. Another way to go to the functions is the exact same dialog box will pop open, and that's right here on the formula bar. If you hold your cursor over the f of x, it's the insert function button. Click that, and there it is again. One more way we're going to do it is to manually type the equal sign, and once you type a letter, everything that begins with that will pop up, and you can keep typing and so on. So let's see, sum is the most recent and one of the most used, so that will pop up. If you double click on that, whoops, I double clicked too much, there's your sum, and it always comes with a set of parentheses. So you could add a group of cells by highlighting them. You could actually add some numbers in here too. So notice down here, it's kind of your little screen tip box. It gives you number 1, comma, number 2, comma, and so on. So I could type 1, comma, 2, comma, 3, comma, 4, comma, 5. My math majors, if you can figure that out really quick. What's that going to be? Go ahead and hit the enter. And all of those numbers added up, you can see right here, are 15. So that's one way you can use the sum function. The way we really use it is with cells. Another way I think is really cool that we do coming up is adding on days to an actual date given. So let's go ahead and put September 1st. So let's type September space 1, comma, 2018. And it doesn't matter where you type it. Let's say I want to know 21 days past September 1st. What day is that actually going to be? So let's go ahead and hit the equal sign. And you can either click on the cell or just a little bit in the tutorial. I'm just going to have you arrow up. So if you hit equals and then arrow key up, it goes up to the previous cell. I want us to hit the plus sign, and I said 21, so let's add on 21 days and enter. So that's really cool. Excel adds on a date, whatever in advance. That's it for doing a little bit of messing around with the functions and all the different ways we can do the functions. Go ahead and go back to sheet 1, and we'll get back to the actual tutorial here. All right, so understanding the functions, let's do some date and time. Go ahead and click in B3. There's a couple different ways you can type in today's date. So if I open this up tomorrow, it would show up in tomorrow's date instead of just actually typing in the date. Go ahead and type equals. And again, we could have clicked up here, we could have hit the f of x button, but I'm just going to start with equals. Let's type TOD, and hopefully the today function opens up. And you don't have to double click, that's my mistake. Just go ahead and click once on today. And then we will have a set of parentheses, and that's all we need. Go ahead and hit the enter function, and there it is. And of course, if you wanted to, you could change the date format, but we're going to leave it just as that. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is what we just did for practice. We're going to go ahead and do some of the functions down here to fill out. So we have February closing date, so when the sales are closed. Commission due. When is commission usually due, or when are bills usually due? Usually 30 days past whatever that date is. So we're going to add on 30 days past that, and you will do something very similar like this in your skills review. So we're going to type equals And then we're going to, once again, arrow up or click on cell B17. And the due date I want 30 days past when it is. So plus 30 and go ahead and enter. So 3/30 of 13 should show up here. Okay. Go ahead and quick save. And then we're going to finish doing these statistical functions. So we have average for January, average for February, largest month amount, smallest month amount. So without knowing this, you just will be using your common sense as well. So the average for January, let's go ahead and use the quick sum function. Arrow for this. So go ahead and click the arrow and make sure we're in cell B19 and we're going to click average. Now, before, when we were able to do the auto sum, it highlighted a range above us. So we do not have a range highlighted right now. So we need to highlight our own range. We want the January average. So we are going to select the range C6 through C13. It shows up down here. Go ahead and enter. So the January sales average is 22,323. All right, we're going to do the same exact thing for February. We wouldn't be able to drag fill this down because we're moving over to the right here. So we're going to do the same thing. Click the arrow next to auto sum and choose average. Now look what it does. By default, Excel doesn't know exactly what we want to average. It found a number directly above it, so it's assuming that. That is wrong. Don't delete anything. We can simply just highlight the correct range that we want. Remember, when we select a range, we start in the middle of that cell. We want to highlight first and then drag down. So don't ever click multiple places or that would add on. We want to just click, hold, and slide down. So we are averaging D6 through D13. Go ahead and enter, and there's the average for that. Okay, what's another word for largest would be max, and we want the largest month amount. So we're not only selecting January, but we're in February individually, but we're selecting them all together. So let's go over here and choose max for largest. Again, this is the wrong data. We want January and February months combined. So we are going to highlight or select the range C6 through D13. Make sure again it says it down there. C6 through D13. Enter. And the last one, we want the lowest or the minimum amount. So min, and that's the wrong amount, or the wrong data, I should say. And right there, C6 through D13 again, and enter. So here are our statistical functions and then our date and time functions as well included. Okay, go ahead and quick save, and we'll continue.